G'day whisky lovers, welcome to the Hard Malt channel. My name's Tim, and today I thought I'd offer a different perspective, both visually and conversationally. I thought I'd discuss the big three, or the what I like to call the WWW of everyone's whisky journey. Now, this video is probably going to be aimed more at people that are just in the beginning of their journey, just to offer some advice on a few different adventures that you're going to come across in your journey. Now, don't despair, people. I'm not going to die of thirst. I do have a pour in my glass here, and I'm just being careful not to show the brand on the glass there, because that will give away what I've got in the glass there. But for those of you that stick around to the end, you'll find out exactly what I'm drinking and what I'm enjoying. So, what's the big three? What's the WW? What's the WWW? Well, it's something I made up, really, but by no means less important. So the WWW is Whisky Bars, Whisky Shows, and warehouse tastings, whisky warehouse tastings. So these are three things that most of you are going to come across in your journey, and I just thought I'd offer my tips, my advice on how to go about them, what to expect perhaps, and above all, my main advice is just enjoy it. So first off, Whisky Bars. I've been lucky enough to go to several really great whisky bars in Australia, in Ireland, Northern Ireland, as well as Scotland, and I've enjoyed every one I went to. My best advice for going to a whisky bar is let the barman or bar person guide you on what you might like to drink. It could be depending on your mood that particular day. You might be in the mood for something peaty, or you might be in the mood for something quite sherried, or something completely different. If you have a set mood that you're into at the moment, be sure to let them know, and they're the experts. They know what's in their bar. They'll be able to point out things and recommend things that you may not have even thought of, or probably not even heard of. Still happens to me all the time. It's the best place to try a lot of independent bottlings as well. A lot of whisky bars are going to have a lot of, they're going to sway heavily towards the independent bottlings, because you're getting something much more unique in independent bottlings, and some bars even have their own exclusive releases, which you may never get to try anywhere else. So just keep myself refreshed there. My other piece of advice is know what your budget is. If you're going to a whisky bar, you don't want to go in with no thought and no ideas whatsoever, and then come out with an empty wallet. That's the last thing you want to happen. I would suggest set yourself a budget. Keep a check on your tab. Most of these whisky bars, they'll run you a tab, because you're going to be trying lots of different things. It's more convenient, and to be honest, it probably does work in their favour a little bit if you're trying several different whiskies and they're keeping a tab. But you can always just ask if you've had 3 or 4, and you say, hey, what am I up to now? And they'll let you know, and then you make the decision whether you're still within your budget or you call it a night. Yeah, those would be my main things at a whisky bar. Is let them guide you based on your mood or based on what you like. You can tell them some of your favourite distilleries, some of your favourite bottlings, and they'll figure out pretty quickly what you might like. Stick to your budget, keep an eye on your tab, and be open to trying something you've never heard of. Talk to the other people in the bar. If you're going to a whiskey bar, you're going to bump into people exactly like you that love whiskey and are there to try something new and just relax and enjoy it. So have a chat, enjoy it, enjoy the atmosphere, learn from the others, and enjoy all the different things you can taste at a whiskey bar. Now the second thing I will talk about is whiskey shows. Now there's lots of different whiskey shows around. People in Scotland have got the benefit of probably having some of the best whiskey shows over there, or festivals if you like. But down here in Australia we do have some pretty reasonably good whiskey shows that happen every year. My advice on whiskey shows is, number one, don't drive. You're going to be going to taste a lot of different whiskies, and the same thing goes for a whiskey bar as well, or even the warehouse tastings when I get to talking about that. Number one, just make some other arrangement to get there and get home, or wherever you're staying that night. So that's the number one piece of advice across the board. Second piece of advice for whiskey shows is do your research on them. A lot of the whiskey shows will actually, well, the ones in Australia anyhow, they will actually publish a bottle list, so you can go through and get an idea of what's going to be available on taste, and you might make yourself your own tick list or checklist of which ones you absolutely want to try, and ones that you're sort of interested in. Keep in mind at a whiskey show you'll get the opportunity, just like at a whiskey bar, to try different whiskies that may not be in your budget or may not be in your wheelhouse, or just whiskies that you may not have ever heard of. So keep that in mind, and make sure you do put some of those on your list if you're going to a whiskey show. It's the best chance you'll get to try something that you'll never afford a bottle of. At least you'll know what it tastes like. You'll be able to have that experience, and you should enjoy it. I think also if you're able to make a bottle list of what you're wanting to taste at a show, you'll be able to pace yourself on the day as well, which is important. You don't want to sort of run around and just try everything you can all at once. It's just not the way to do it. And don't think that you're going to be able to taste every single whiskey that's at the show either. You won't be able to. And there's going to be ones that are just not what you're after anyhow. So coming back to make the list what you want to try. Make sure you've got the must-haves at the top, so go and try them first. You're better off to try something that would be out of your price range normally. Try that earlier so that you can enjoy the flavour and understand it, rather than later in the show when your palate's already starting to get a little bit confused, because it will happen at a whiskey show. If you're trying over a dozen whiskies, sometimes 20 or more, you're only having the smallest pours, mind you, so we're not going crazy here. But when you're trying that many whiskies, there's going to come a point that your palate's going to start to get a little bit confused and not really be able to pick up all the flavours. So my best piece of advice is to try the ones that are high on your list, try them first. Then the ones that are sort of in your price range, or you sort of know what you're going to expect, leave them towards the end, because then you're not going to be disappointed. You will have tried your must-haves at the start, and the ones that you're sort of finishing up with, you kind of know where it's at anyway. So that's my piece of advice. I'll just have another sip. Now, number 3, warehouse tastings. whisky warehouse tastings we're talking about, or distillery warehouse tastings. If you're going to different distillery tours, especially in Scotland, Ireland as well, and I've been to a few in Australia as well, where quite often you'll do the production tour. You'll see the mash tun, the washback. You'll see the spirit stills, and then you'll end up in the warehouse where they will do the tasting. Now, I know especially in Australia where they're quite strict on holding everything in a bonded warehouse where they don't have to pay tax until it leaves the warehouse. That's why a lot of small distilleries will always do their tasting inside the warehouse, because there's no tax to be paid on that then, which is fair enough. But it's also the best place to taste. One of the best places to taste whiskey is in the middle of a warehouse, a distillery warehouse full of barrels of aging whiskey. What more could you want? It's just a fabulous experience. I encourage anyone to do distillery tours in Scotland. Often they will have a production tour separate from a warehouse tasting. Once you've done a few distillery tours, like production tours, you could argue that they're sort of one in the same. All the distilleries are a little bit different, but they're all making the same product, using the same techniques, and by and far using the same methods and same machinery. So keep that in mind, that you don't necessarily have to do a production tour at every single distillery in Scotland. You can find the more special moments when you do a warehouse tasting, which is where you go straight into the warehouse and they have chosen some pretty special casks to draw from, drawing straight from the cask into your glass and having some pretty special whiskies on taste. Again, the first piece of advice for doing a warehouse tasting is don't drive. You're going to be tasting some high strength whiskies if you're doing a proper whiskey warehouse tasting. So definitely don't drive. Organise a taxi or whatever you need to do to get there and back. Enjoy the experience. It's going to be a small group generally in the warehouse, and you'll be all crowded around a few barrels, sipping some great whiskey and chatting about it. Listen to what the guide's telling you about each different whiskey. Because often it can sometimes be a distillery guide running the tastings, but it can often be one of the distillery managers, or if you're lucky, a master blender as well. So take in everything that they're talking about, because they know, if it's one of those guys, they know what they're talking about. And you're going to have a few different casks that you're going to taste. So sometimes I'll have a list of the casks that are on taste. So make sure you take a photo of the list. So afterwards, after the experience, you can remember what it was you tried, which ones you really liked. And if you're lucky, sometimes in those tastings you'll get extra to put in little sample bottles to take back with you as well. So all the more reason to make sure you get a photo of the tasting list, so when you're sitting back in the comfort of your hotel or your home, you can pour those drams and know exactly what they are, which cask they came from, how they were matured, how long for, etc. And my last piece of advice for for warehouse tastings, is if they ever call for a volunteer, put your hand up straight away. If they call for a volunteer, don't hesitate, because you just might get to do one of the cask draws yourself, or something else pretty special. So just remember that while you're in there sipping away, if they ask, can I have a volunteer? Yep, just put your hand up straight away. You won't regret it. Well, that's it for my little ramble about the big three, the WWW of your whiskey journey. So I suppose it's time to reveal what I've been sipping. So if you can see that, it's a Kilkerran glass, and that is the 16-year-old Kilkerran. And I will do a review on this coming up, but I won't combine it with this video, but that'll be something else to look forward to. Until then, see you in the next one. Slán